So today we're going to look at some inequalities and how to graph them. For the first moment, what I'd like you to go ahead and do is pause the video, and I want you to copy down this top chart right here. So now that you've written down the top chart there and the number lines I have there, we're going to go ahead and go over the symbols. So our first symbol is greater than. X is greater than 3, meaning that any value you give to x has to be more than 3. So anything 3 and above. And so how we go ahead and write that on our number line, or how we draw that, is we're going to go ahead and do an open 3. Okay? An open circle there. Meaning that anything above that 3, x is greater than. And so we draw our arrow that way to show that anything above 3. Okay? 3 itself cannot be greater than 3, so that's why we use the open circle. The next one is greater than or equal to. So it's the same looking symbol, but it has a line underneath there, and that line underneath there shows the equal to part. So in this case, we have x is greater than or equal to -8. Okay. So to show a greater than or equal, instead of just an open circle, we are going to fill in our circle. So it's going to be a closed circle. That shows that it's equal to as well. And then because it's greater than, I'm also going to go this way. Yes, for negatives, my number is getting smaller, but we know with negatives that the smaller the number is, the greater the value it actually is. So our next one is less than. X is less than -6. Notice how our less than symbol is just the same thing as our greater than symbol. We just go ahead and flip it around the other way. So we show our less than symbol with a open circle, and then anything less than our -6. And so with negatives, as the number gets bigger, it's obviously a lesser value. Okay. The next part is less than or equal to. So again, we have our line underneath the less than symbol to show the equal portion of it. So we have x is less than or equal to 7. So it's a less than or equal to, so we're going to go ahead and put a closed circle right at 7. And then we're going to draw our line to the left side. Okay. So any value we give to x fits into there. It can be 5, -4, but it cannot be greater than 7. So that's how we go ahead and draw those. So our first example here is graph a number line. X is less than -2. So I'm going to go ahead and put -2 in the middle here. My number greater than that is -1, and the number less than that is -3. So it's less than -2, so an open circle. I'm going to draw my arrow towards the -3. The next one is write the inequality and graph on a number line. We have m is greater than or equal to 65. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my 65. And actually I want to write my inequality first. Okay. So we have our m, and then we have 65. And it's saying that m is greater than or equal to. So if m is greater than, it's going to open up towards the m, and it can possibly be equal to it. So we have to draw a line underneath there as well. So here I go to graph it. Put 65 in the middle. Okay, one more than that is going to be 66, and one less than that would be 64. Okay, it is greater than or equal to, so it is a closed circle. Make sure I show a closed circle at 65. Again, it's greater than, so I'm going to go to larger numbers. Okay. Other words are related to these inequalities. First one is the temperature will be at most 60 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write the inequality as well. I'm going to put a T for temperature. Okay, and we'll put 60 degrees over here. Okay, and at most it's 60 degrees, meaning that it's not going to get any higher than 60 degrees. That's the most that it can get. So it can be less than or equal to 60 degrees. So I'm going to have the larger portion of the symbol, the open mouth there, go towards the larger number, and it has to be, T is going to be less. So on this one I put a 60, large number is 61, smaller 59. It is closed, okay? And then we're going to the lower side. So the highest temperature we can possibly have is 60 degrees for that one. The next one is above. The temperature will be above 60 degrees. So I'm going to put T again for temperature. I'm going to put 60 degrees. Okay. Now it's going to be above 60 degrees, which means we know it's not going to be equal to 60, but see now it's going to be above, it's going to be greater than 60. Okay. So anything above 60. So 60.1, 60.2, 60.3, that is above. 60 by itself would not be above. So it is not an equal to one. So we're going to do an open circle. Draw an arrow that way. Next one is at least. Everyone made at least 75 on their test. Okay. So we have, we'll put T for tests, we'll put 75. And then we're going to say that because it's at least, that we know some people probably made 75 and then some people are above it, but nobody's below that. So we're going to be, it's going to be greater than 75, but it also could be equal to it. So I'm going to go ahead and put my 75 there, 76 and 74. So it's a greater than or equal to, so it's a closed circle. And we're going to go to the greater side. Last one, no more than. You should spend no more than $25 on your shirt. Okay. So we have, we'll put S for shirt, and we'll put 25 on that side. Okay. So we won't want to spend any more than 25. So can we spend 25? Yes. Okay. We can spend 25, but we can't spend any more than that. So it's going to be a less than or equal to is what it be. Okay. So here's our 25. 26 and 24. Right? Move that up so you guys can see it. So it's a equal to, closed circle, and then we have it as a less than there. So it could be 25, but it also can be less than. So those are our symbols that we're going to go ahead and work on in class tomorrow. We have our greater than or equal to, less than, or less than and equal to.